Welcome students. In this session we are going to discuss about collisions. We have discussed this particular topic in the previous class. We have seen different kinds: elastic collision, inelastic collision. Then we have seen collision in one dimension, collision in two dimension. Now I am taking a very specific topic related to collision, that is bouncing of a ball. Practically, if I say this, just take a basketball, hold it at a certain height, like this, and release it. It will start, see, this is just for our understanding to separate. V is the velocity with which it will approach the ground. It will bounce and go with different velocity. It will not have the same velocity because it will lose some energy as a result of collision with the ground. We have seen that energy is converted to sound energy. We hear sound, na? So same energy it cannot have when it goes up. So its velocity will be different. So the height attained will be different. Again, it will fall with the same velocity, but when it bounces a second time, its velocity will be different with which it will go up, height will be different. See, this is exactly the sequence that I have drawn here. For your understanding, please concentrate on the direction of the velocities. So now, the first question is, what will be the velocity immediately after nth rebound? Now let us analyze. Let us say here, the coefficient of restitution is E. Here, coefficient of restitution is E. E can be said as V2 minus V1 by U1 minus U2. We know that. Correct. Now, U1 is U. So here we can say E is equal to the velocity with which it is approaching. See, velocity of separation upon velocity of approach. Velocity with which it is approaching is V for the first time. So V. And ground, earth, we can take it as 0. So V by the velocity. This is separation, so it is V1 and this will become V. V1, see there, na? V1 is the velocity with which it is going away from earth. So velocity of separation is what? V1 minus 0. Velocity of approach, it is approaching earth with a velocity V. So we have here V minus 0. So this gives us for the first rebound. So what we can say? V1 is equal to E times V. This is for the first rebound. Let us go to the second rebound. In the second rebound, what happens? E is equal to second rebound. It is approaching with velocity V1, going away with velocity V2. So this is V2 by V1. This is what we can say. So this is, you can change here and say relative velocity of separation, relative velocity of approach. You can say like this. So here I will say V2 by V1. So from this we can say V2 is E times V1. So therefore we can say V2 is E times V1 is EV. So V2 is E square V. This is the velocity after second time it rebounds. Same way we can find for the third rebound. For the third rebound, if you go, see the third rebound is given here. So what is the velocity of separation? V3 minus 0. So third rebound, E is equal to V3 by V2, because it is approaching with a velocity V2. So we can say V3 is equal to E times V2, that is E times V2 is E square V. So E square V, so that is E power 3V, this is V3. This is what we are getting. Please see, first rebound E power 1 into V. Second rebound E power 2 into V. This is second rebound. This is exactly what we can say as second rebound. So therefore, what we can conclude in general, after nth rebound, Vn will be E power n into V. This is what we can say. Students, please try to understand how we are generating it. Don't try to remember the equations, because once you try it yourself, right, then it will be easy. It's not very difficult. Basic definition of E, coefficient of restitution, is relative velocity of separation upon relative velocity of approach. This is what we are using as our fundamental for this particular derivation for finding velocity immediately after nth rebound. This is exactly what we are using in every case. Please try to understand. Now students, the second derivation that we are taking is height attained by the ball after nth rebound. Please see the diagram. The ball is falling from a height h. After first rebound, it attained h1, which is less than h. After second rebound, it attained a height h2, which is less than h1. Third rebound, see h3, like that, height is continuously decreasing. So after nth rebound, what is the height attained? That is our point of discussion. Now, we know V is equal to root 2 GH. How did we get this? It is a free fall. So here U is 0. Here it strikes with a velocity V. Height of fall is h. Use the equation of motion. V square minus U square is 2as. We get the value of V is root 2 GH. Now, V1 is equal to E times V. We have derived this in just the previous case. So what we get? V1 is root 2 GH1 is E times V is root 2 GH. So therefore we can say H1, squaring both sides, 2G cancels, E square H. We got this is height attained after first rebound. This is the height it is attained after first rebound, H1 we got. Now let us go for the second rebound. If I take second rebound, V2 is equal to E times V1. This is known to us, we derived in the previous case, correct? So therefore, V2 is 2GH2 is E times V1. V1 is root of 2GH1. Now, from this we can say, squaring both sides, H2 is E square H1. But H1 is what? That is E square H. So H2 is e power 4h. This is our second rebound. See how we are trying to correlate H1 e square h, H2 e power 4h. Now if I take third rebound, then V3 is E times V2. We know the meaning of coefficient of restitution. From that I am writing this equation. So V3 2GH3, this is root of it, E times root of 2GH2. This is what we have. So therefore we can say H3 is E square H2. And what is H2? So therefore we say H3 is e power 6h. See, this is third rebound. So how can we generalize? H1 is e power h, e square h, e power. This can be written as this equation. See, this equation can be written as H1 is e power 2 into 1 h. This equation I can write H2 is e power 2 into 2h. This equation I can write H3 is e power 2 into 3h, which means that in general Hn, this is height attained by the ball after nth rebound, e power 2 will remain there, n and h. Put the value of n as 1, 2h. Put the value of n as 2, 2 to the 4h. Put the value of n as 3. See how we can generalize. So this is how we can say in general, height attained by the ball after nth rebound is given by Hn is e power 2n into h. Now students, the next topic is time taken in nth rebound. We know just now we had found out H1, H, we can say H is equal to, we can write half G T square. This is what we have. So I can say therefore T is equal to 2H upon G, and this is what? From this point to this point, how much is the time taken? H is the drop, U is 0, A is plus G. Use the second equation of motion, S is ut plus half at square. It is a free fall, so U is 0, so we get half gt square H. So T is this. Now when it rebounds here, means first rebound. So first rebound, H1 is e square h we have. We have seen that hn is e power 2n into h. We have derived it. Use that equation. h1 n is 1. So h1 is what? Half g t1 square is equal to e square half g t square. So what we can say? Half g cancels out. So t1 is et. This is the time for first rebound. Now the same way, if I try to find second rebound h2 is e power 4h. Why e power 2n into h? So we get this as half g t2 square. This is e square half g t square. So what we get now? Half g cancels. t2 is equal to e square t. See, e second became 2. So what can you say about third rebound? So if I take third rebound, h3 is e power 6h. So t3 square, half g cancels out, e power 6 t square. So t3 is equal to e power. So what can we say in general? So in general, time taken in nth, so tn will be e power n into t. First one, put as n as 1, t1 is et. Second, e square t, e cube t. See, this is exactly how we can find out the time taken in a particular rebound. Numericals will be framed in this. They'll ask you how much is the height in 6th rebound, then time in 7th rebound. So we can directly use these equations. Time taken in a given rebound, right? So what will be the total time in bouncing till it stops? See here. Here the time taken is t, correct? Here the time taken will be t1 plus t1, so 2t1. t2 plus t2, 2t2. t3 plus t3, 2t3. That is why first one is only t and rest all are twice. So we can write this way. t1 is what? et. t2 is what? e square t. We have derived it. t3 is what? e cube t. Like this it goes. So what we can say? Total time. Take, this is t, you can say 2et plus now we can do this simplification as this entire thing is 1. See here. So we can write this as t plus, take 2et common, and then what we have? 1 plus e plus e square, like this it goes. T term I am writing separate, rest of the term 2et is common. This is what we can do. So now we can simplify it, t plus 2et. Observe this. This is an infinite geometrical progression. So we can say a upon 1 minus r. This is exactly what will be the So A upon 1 minus R. This is what we get. So now take T common, 1 plus 2E by 1 minus E. This is what we get. So what you get finally, this is, take LCM and solve. 1 minus E plus 2E. So 1 plus E by 1 minus E. This is what we get. Therefore, total time T is how much? 1 plus E by 1 minus E into T. This is the total time to bounce for that particular ball. See, it involves sum to infinite GP. This is what A upon 1 minus R. This you have done. Sum of infinite GP is A upon 1 minus common ratio R. That I am using. A is 1, common ratio E by 1, E square by E, so that is 1 minus E. That is exactly how we can find out time taken in bouncing the ball till it stops. The next derivation that we are taking is distance covered by the ball before it stops. Please concentrate on the diagram. This is going to infinity. Okay, so what is the distance traveled? Distance traveled h plus h1 plus h1, so 2h1 plus h2 plus h2, so 2h2 plus h3 plus h3, so 2h3. So what I can say, total distance traveled h is h plus 2h1, 2h2, 2h3, like this it will go. Now we know h1 is E times h, E square 2n into h plus 2 times E power 4h, 2 3s are 6, like this it will go. So how will you solve this? Again the same thing, 2 E square h is common, 1 plus e raised to 4, like this it will go to infinity. So this gives us h plus 2 times e square h, a upon 1 minus r. This is what we get as sum to infinite terms of a GP is a upon 1 minus r. Common ratio is e square. So again in this take h common, so 1 plus 2 e square by 1 minus e square. So this gives us what? H. So h into 1 plus e square by 1 minus e square. So distance traveled by the ball before it stops, if I label it as h, this is 1 plus e square by 1 minus e square into h. This is exactly what we can say as the height. So see students, it is not difficult, it is conceptual. So please understand the diagram, draw it yourself and try to generate this equation. It is very simple. Now students, let us calculate what is the average speed of the ball in the entire journey. Average speed, you have done this in motion of a body along a straight line. Average speed is total distance traveled by total time taken. This is what we have. So this total distance traveled, just now in the previous topic we had discussed, it is 1 plus e square by 1 minus e square times h upon, this is 1 plus e by 1 minus e, and we have t. This is what we have. Simplify this. How to simplify this? This we can write as 1 plus e square by 1 minus e square h into 1 minus e by 1 plus e, and denominator we have t, right? And t is what? Root of 2h by g. This we had seen in time, right? T is equal to h is equal to half gt square. So t is 2h by g. T is in the denominator, so we have taken reciprocal. Now simplify this. This we can say as, we can write 1 plus e square, we cannot do anything, and 1 minus e square, I can factorize it, 1 plus e, 1 minus e cancels out, so we get 1 plus e the whole square. Root h here cancels out, so gh by 2 root of it. This is exactly what we can find and say that this is the average speed. So what is the average speed? To conclude, average speed is gh by 2 root of it, and we get 1 plus e square upon 1 plus e the whole square. This is how we can calculate average speed. See students, if we know individual terms, what is the total distance traveled, what is the total time taken, all those things, we can very comfortably calculate average speed. Now the next term, student, that we are going to take is average velocity. So average velocity, it is known to you from the chapter of motion along a straight line. Average velocity is total displacement. It is total displacement by total time taken. This is what we have as average velocity. Now total displacement, please concentrate. It is not distance, it is displacement. So h plus h1 minus h1 cancels out. So displacement along h1 is 0. Similarly h2 is 0. All this displacement will be 0. So effectively displacement of only h. That is the displacement. So total displacement is h. Total time will remain the same as what we did in the previous case. Total time will not cancel because time is not vector quantity. So this will be what? This we get as 1 plus e by 1 minus e times t. This is what we have seen. So what we get now? This is 1 minus e by 1 plus e and h. T will be what? This is 2g, and we have seen h is equal to half gt square. Half gt square is h. So you get this as 2 into h, and g is in the numerator, right? So this is nothing but 1 minus e by 1 plus e, and 1 h goes off, so you get g into h by 2. This is the average velocity. So what we can write, what is the average velocity? Finally, average velocity can be expressed as g into h by 2 root of it 1 minus e by 1 plus e. So students, I request you to do the derivation of all these terms yourself. Please write it and try to generate the equations and get a feeling of how exactly the terms are, whether they're in the numerator or in denominator, because a small change in the position of the terms will make a lot of difference in the answer. That is why instead of depending on our memory, if we depend on our concepts, if we depend on our fundamentals, that will always be beneficial and advantageous than simply depending on memory. So it is better you practice this derivations thoroughly. Well student, now time has come to discuss the numericals on this particular topic, right? So the first numerical is of this type. A 0.1 kg ball makes an head-on collision with a ball of unknown mass which is initially at rest. If the 0.1 kg mass rebounds with 1/3 of its original speed, find the mass of the other ball. So if I try to record the data which is given, let us say m1 is 0.1 kg, m2 is unknown, I will write it as m. u1, let us say it is u, and u2 is 0. After collision it says v1 is minus of u by 3. Now you will say why minus? Rebounds with 1/3 of its original speed. So rebounds means what? Its direction is reversing. So when you talk of velocity, you have to consider the direction as well. So the direction will be opposite to the original direction of motion. Hence I am taking it as minus u by 3. Now this is the information that we get. M is to be found out. So now what we can do, this is the data which is given to us. Now from law of conservation of linear momentum, because any kind of collision is there, whether it is elastic collision or inelastic collision, it is known that linear momentum will be conserved. So one equation I am generating by using this. So that is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is m1 v1 plus m2 v2. This is what we have. Now from this we can say the data which is known to us, 0.1 into u plus 0 is 0.1 into minus of u by 3 plus m2 v2. This is what we don't know v2, m2 we don't know v2. So we are trying to find that. So if I simplify this term and this term, so what we get from this, m2 v2 will be, minus is there, so it will add up. So you will get this as 0.4 by 3 u. One equation we got. This is from the law of conservation of momentum. Now from law of conservation of energy, which energy? Kinetic energy. Which energy? Kinetic energy. So we can say half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square is equal to half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square. So what we get? Half cancels throughout. So we can say 0.1 u square, this is 0, is equal to 0.1 u square by 9, because u by 3 square will give you u square by 9 plus m2 v2 square. So what we get? m2 v2 square will give you, this equation will give us 0.1 u square into 8 by 9. This is what we get. Now we have two equations. This is the second equation. We have two equations. So what we do is we need m2. So I need to eliminate v2. So what I will do is square this. m2 square v2 square is 0.16 by 9 u square. Correct? Now divide m2 square v2 square. Now what you can do is upon m2 v2 square. So this will become what? Reciprocal of it. So it is 9 by 0.1 u square into 8. So if we try to simplify this, 9 u square, and here v2 square and 1 m2 cancels out. So what we get now? From this we can say m2 is equal to, we have here 0.16, so it is 0.1, so we get this as 16, and here we get 10 and 8, so 8 to 16, so 0.2 kg. This is how we can find out the mass of the unknown. Instead of using conservation of energy, you can also use coefficient of restitution equation, and you can solve, you will get the same answer. I leave it as an exercise to you that you will cross check that. Well students, let us take one more question. This question is conceptual. The question reads like this. A simple pendulum of length 1 meter has a wooden bob of mass 1 kg. It is struck by a bullet of mass 10 gram moving with a speed of 200 meter per second. The bullet gets embedded with the bob, with that particular thing. It is embedded inside the pendulum bob. Find the height to which the bob rises before swinging back. See, to show you this in the form of a diagram, this is the bob which is 1 kg and bullet is this. Now what happens? It strikes, gets embedded. So see, this is the position. This is the height which it rises. This is what is given in the form of a diagram. I can say this. So our aim is, it is having a velocity u. Our aim is to find this height. So what we can do? From law of conservation of linear momentum, initial momentum of the bullet m into u plus 0 is m plus m into v. This is what we can say. Combination is rising. Here the combination, bullet is inside. Mass of the bullet is how much? 10 gram. So I can say from this, velocity of the combination is m into u by m plus m. This is what we get. This is the velocity with which the combination will start rising. Now, at this point, whatever is the kinetic energy the body possesses, At this point it has lost all its kinetic energy. So what we can say? Loss in kinetic energy of the combination, that is the bob and the bullet embedded inside. Loss in the kinetic energy of the combination is equal to, that is converting into what? It is gaining height, na? So gain in gravitational potential energy. So that is gain in potential energy of the combination. So the kinetic energy lost, it is coming to rest at this position. So I can say half m plus m, this is the mass of the combination. Velocity of the combination we found out here. This is equal to mass of the combination is m plus m, g, height to which the combination rises is h. So now in this case, if I try to simplify, this cancels out. So what we get? V square is equal to 2gh. So h is what? V square by 2g. This is what we are getting. So let us try to evaluate how much could be that. So h, V square. So V square is m square u square. So we will have m into u by m plus m whole square into g. Sorry, this is square into 1 by, let us say 20 we will write. I am taking g as 10. So I will get this. Now mass of the bullet is 10 gram. So we will write this as 10 into 10 power minus 3. We have to convert this into SI units. So 10 into 10 power minus 3 will give us 10 power minus 2. And speed is 200. This is upon mass of the wooden bob is 1 kg. So it is 1.01. And this will be whole square and 1 by 20. So this gives us 2 into 2, 4, and this is 1.01 whole square, and here 20. That is exactly how we can simplify. So this is 1 by 5 into 1.01 whole square. This many meters you will get. Now if you want it in centimeters, you make it 100 here and make it centimeter. I think simplification you can do it. This is nothing but 520. 20 upon 1.01 whole square. This will give you 1.02. So it is close to 19 point something centimeters. You are going to get this. That is exactly how. See here, we are using law of conservation of momentum and law of conservation of energy. How? The entire kinetic energy lost is converted to potential. This type of concepts are very much important. Many a time such type of questions are there in the entrance exams. So students, please try to solve this question on your own and try to understand the concept behind it. Now student, let us take one more conceptual question. The question reads like this. A body falling on the ground from a height of 10 meter rebounds to a height of 2.5 meter. Calculate first part, percentage loss in the kinetic energy, ratio of the velocities of the body just before and after collision. See, if you see this question in the form of a diagram, see this. This is H1. It is falling from here, u is 0, and it will rebound and go to some height h2. Now here it is coming with a velocity, let us say v1, and it rebounds and goes with a velocity v2. This is exactly what is given. Now Here, from here we can say loss in potential energy is gain in kinetic energy. This is the case just before collision. Just before collision, half m v1 square is mg h1. This is one equation we have. This can be called as K1. Then just after collision, it is moving up with velocity v2. So the loss in kinetic energy is gain in potential energy in the second case. So K2 half m v2 square. This is mg h2. Rebounds. H1 is given as 10 meter. It rebounds to a height of 2.5 meter h2. Now from 1 and 2, divide the two equations, v1 square by v2 square. Divide the two equations, half m cancels out, mg cancels out. This is h1 by h2. So v1 square or v1 by v2 whole square, h1 is 10, h2 is 2.5. So what we get this as 2.5 is nothing but 25 400. So this is 4. So the ratio of v1 by v2 is 2. We got ratio of velocity just before collision is v1, after collision is v2, so the ratio is 2. This is the, now percentage loss in kinetic energy. Percentage loss we have to find. So percentage, compulsorily it says loss. This will be how much? This is K1 minus K2 by K1. This is the percentage loss in kinetic energy. So this will be how much? K1 is mgh1, K2 is mgh2. So we can say this is nothing but h1 minus h2 by h1. That is same as h1 minus h2. h1 is how much? 10. So 10 minus 2.5 by 10. This is exactly what we get. This is nothing but 7.5 by 10. This is into 100. Percentage we want. So multiply by 100 on both sides. So into 100. So into 100. So this we get as 75% loss in the kinetic energy that is happening in this particular situation. So the loss in potential energy, please understand this. Percentage loss, if they say percentage change, then we have to do final minus initial upon initial into 100. That is exactly how the percentage change is found out. But here it is specifically saying find the percentage loss. It means that final kinetic energy is less than the initial kinetic energy. That is why we have taken here initial minus final upon original, that is the initial. That is exactly how we are finding change or the loss, percentage loss in kinetic energy. Well students, let us take one more question which involves coefficient of restitution. The question reads like this: a ball of mass 2 kg moving with a speed of 5 meter per second. So m1 is equal to 2 kg and u1 is equal to 5 meter per second. Collides directly with another ball of mass. So m2 is given as 3 kg with a speed of 4 meter per second. So u2 is given as 4 meter per second in the same direction. If coefficient of restitution is given, if E is equal to 2 by 3, we have to find what is V1 and what is V2. This is what is to be found out. Same direction. What it means, if you see it in the form of a diagram, let us say this is A with U1, this is B with U2. They combine, collide. So this is A with V1 and this is B, same direction with V2. This is what we have. So what we can say now, from law of conservation of linear momentum, we have M1 U1 plus M2 U2 is M1 V1 plus M2 V2. This is what we have. M1 U1 is how much? 10 plus M2 U2 is 3 plus 4 is 3 4's 12. This is M1 is 2, so 2 V1 plus M2 is 3, so 3 V2. So what we are getting? 2 V1 plus 3 V2 is equal to 10 and 12, so 22. We got one equation like this. This is exactly how we get one equation. The second equation, how to get? Second equation we get from the fact that coefficient of restitution is given to us. Now E is equal to V2 minus V1 by U1 minus U2. This is known to us. So E is 2 by 3 is equal to V2 minus V1 upon U1 is 5, U2 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. So this means that 3V2 minus 3V1 is equal to 2. We got second equation. First equation is this, 3V2. Second equation is this. So solving equation 1 and equation 2. See, 3V2 is here, 3V2 is here. So subtract the two equation. If I subtract the two equation, this equation minus that equation, 3V2 cancels out. 3V1 plus 2 is 5V1 and 22 minus 2, 20. So V1 is 4. Subtract the two equation, you will get this. If V1 is 4, substitute V1 as 4 here. So what you will get? Plus 4. 3, 4, 12. So V1 is 4. So we can find V2. How will you find V2 now? V2 is nothing but V1 plus 2 by 3. So this is 4, 3, 4, 12. 12 plus 2, 14. 14 by 3. So it is close to 5. So we get V2 is 4.67 meter per second. This is exactly how, by using the concept of coefficient of restitution C, we can simplify the equation. We don't have to go for the law of conservation of energy because E was given to us. If E is not given to us, then we have to go for the conservation of energy. Then only we will be able to solve two equations in which the two variables will be there. Well, students, now let us take one more question. This is also a very conceptual question. A particle of mass 1 kg is projected from the tower of height 375 meter with an initial velocity of 100 meter per second at an angle of 30 degrees. So if you see the diagram, it is something like this. This is the ground. This is your height, which is given as 375 meters. It says from here you are projecting an object. This angle is theta. Theta is given as 30 degrees. Initial velocity of 100 meter per second. Now we know that when it is projected like this, the body will follow a projectile motion and it will hit the ground like this. So we can say that at this point its velocity will have two components, Vx and Vy. This is what we have. So it says find its kinetic energy just after the collision with the ground if collision is inelastic with E is equal to 1 by 2. So what we can say here, Vy square is equal to Uy square plus 2Ay Sy. This is the equation which we are knowing from motion in a straight line. V square minus U square is 2As. This I am applying along vertical direction because we know the height. That is why I am calculating Vy using this. So Vy square is equal to Uy square plus 2gh. So Uy, how much will be Uy? Resolve this in this direction, you will get Ux. In this direction, you will get Uy. So Uy is how much? U sine theta. So Uy will be how much? We can write Uy as U sine theta whole square plus 2 into G into H. This is what we can say as Vy square. Now let us try to simplify or substitute the terms. U is how much? 100. Sine 30 is how much? Half. So this becomes 50 square plus 2. Let us say G is 10 and let us say H is 375. So what we get this as? This is so this is so this is what we get as Vy square. No. So Vy is equal to 100 meter per second. This is what we are getting. Simplify this equation to 5, 10, 0, 2, 7, 5, 7 and this is what you get. So we get Vy as, now how much will be horizontal component of velocity Vx? This is Vy. So Vx is equal to Ux and that is 100 cos 30. That is U cos theta. So that is 50 root 3 meter per second. We got Vx. This is what we get. Now E is given to us as 1 by 2. So how to use this E? So E is 1 by 2. So now velocity after collision, this is Vy is 100. So we get half of 100. So that is 50 meter per second. Because it is E times V. That is exactly what we get. So now kinetic energy. Now how will you find kinetic energy? We got Vy is this after collision. Vx is this. So we can say kinetic energy after collision is half mv square. So that is half. M is 1 and v square is 50 square. Vx square 50 square plus 50 root 3 square. Vx square plus Vy square we can find out. So what we can do is we can always simplify this. Okay, the simplification I will do it here. You know the diagram, so I am taking away the diagram now. Now simplification tells us that kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. So that is half, m is 1 kg and v square is nothing but vx square plus vy square. So that is half into vx is 50 root 3. So 50 root 3 square plus 50 square. This is what we get. So you can take 50 square common. 3 plus 1, 4. So you get 50 square into 4. That is nothing but 100 square, 1000. So this you will get as 5000 joules. You can simplify and you can try this. This is a good exercise for you. See students, in the entrance exam, how fast you can calculate, that matters a lot, because then you will save time. So you have to use all your fundamentals and basics that you have studied till now to simplify. See here how I have simplified. 50 square and 50 square is common. I have taken 50 square outside. Root 3 square is 3. 3 plus 1 makes it 4. So 50 square into 4 is same as 50 square into 2 square. That is 100 square. Right? 10,000 by 2 makes it 5,000. See, orally we can solve such questions. So you also work out in this way so that your calculation speed improves. Well student, let us take one more question. This question is based on the concept of coefficient of restitution. A sphere of mass m moving with constant velocity collides with another stationary sphere of same mass. If the coefficient of restitution is E, find the ratio of the velocities of the two spheres after collision. Now, first what we will do is, we will apply law of conservation of momentum. Why? Because whatever be the kind of collision, we know that the momentum is conserved. So one condition, one equation we will definitely get from the law of conservation of linear momentum. So from law of conservation of linear momentum, what we can say, m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Sphere is mass m moving with velocity, so I will write m and here u1. Another stationary sphere, so this is 0, m v1 m v2. This is what we have. So we can say that v1 plus v2 is u1. We got one equation. This is from the law of conservation of linear momentum. Now what is given? Coefficient of restitution is given. So let us not go to the conservation of energy route, because coefficient of restitution is given. So now, what is coefficient of restitution? It is the relative velocity of separation. So, upon relative velocity of approach. So, this gives E is equal to V2 minus V1 by U1, because U2 is 0. So, we get second equation. V2 minus V1 is E times U1. We got second equation. Now two equations we have. So we have V2 minus V1 is equal to E times U1, and V2 plus V1 is U1. So from these two, solve the two equations. First, add the two equations. 2v2 is equal to u1, I can take common, 1 plus e. This is what we get. Subtract the two equation. So 2v1, subtract the two equations. 2v1, I can take u1 common, 1 minus e. So therefore, we can say V1 by V2 is equal to U1 cancels 1 minus E by 1 plus E. See how by knowing what kind of collision is there, see how easily just two equations you have to frame in any kind of collision. One equation comes from the law of conservation of linear momentum, and one equation will come either from the coefficient of restitution if it is given, or it will come from the law of conservation of energy. Which form of energy? Kinetic energy. So if you keep this much in mind, I think any question from collision topic can be comfortably solved, but it needs practice. You please solve these questions, you will definitely gain confidence in solving the numericals from collisions.